as Trump meets Netanyahu today in Washington, D.C., I think there's immense pressure on Netanyahu also, as well as on Trump also, because the world is looking at both of them. Their domestic audiences are looking at both of them. Trump wants to further his persona and his, aura as a peacemaker. Netanyahu does not fully agree with Trump, but Netanyahu realizes that bottom line, he does need America and the goodwill of Trump, which has been there so far. So there are definitely geopolitical pressures, geopolitical vectors playing out. However, a complete success of the summit, as is being touted, a 21-point plan by Trump, and which could lead to a complete ceasefire, release of the hostages, a plan for some government in transition, some international stabilizing force, and all of those. I think the probability of a complete package is maybe less. The probability may be around 30 odd percent. What the probability could be that some things could move ahead and some things would be said to be, resolved and discussed going ahead. Oh, the fate of hostages will be perhaps the topmost on the agenda, because if you look at as an equation, on one side are all the things, ceasefire and Gaza City and Hamas and all. On the other side of the equation is only and only the point of hostages. It is that paramount for Netanyahu, for Trump, and the domestic pressures on Netanyahu are immense due to that. So Hamas, yes, has said that it has not even received any proposal yet. I think till about 24 hours ago, they were saying that. So we could expect Hamas to play hardball also. It depends now on to what extent Trump and the American administration has been able to work with its Arab allies and interlocutors in Egypt and Qatar to, communicate with Hamas and to bring it around. And also one very interesting thing that I find and I see, and especially from India's perspective, is this question of the international stabilization force or security force. Who will that military force be in case a ceasefire, in case Israel withdraws, in case there is a demilitarization of Hamas? I have a nagging feeling that it could be a force supplied by Pakistan. Pakistan has been playing a significantly strange and very active role in the Middle East and its relation with the United States. Hardly a few days ago, Munir and Shahbaz Sharif met Trump, of course, for a range of issues. And on the other hand, there's a Saudi-Pakistan Defense Pact also. Pakistan could very well angle itself as being a provider, a net provider of soldiers for Gaza, for the peace and security. See, the Arab nations, in any case, they don't have much large armies, okay? And they don't want to put any of the armies in conflict zones. Pakistan could very well be playing that chip. I would be very interested to track that. I think we should be very mindful of that aspect also. A couple of things. One, the case of Israel is it's an exception. It's uncommon because Israel, you can say, is virtually the 51st state of the United States, right? Now, that said, Trump could end up, you see, if this conflict, as this goes on, Trump still has 3 more years in office. In the next 6 months, 1 year, sometime, probably the war would stop. And then Trump would take credit for that. One. Secondly, Trump may be, exaggerating the number of wars he has interfered in and mediated, but there are some, yes, he has managed. Armenia, Azerbaijan. Both presidents sat down in the White House with him, exchanged a memoranda of peace. Okay, so there have been interventions by Trump which have led to a cessation of conflict. Now, as to the larger question, as to America's superpower ability diminishing, Yes, of that there is no doubt. In this world, given the way in which America operates and is, proceeding in world affairs, nations are urgently ramping up their own special position situations, realizing that the US is an aggressive player in the geopolitical theater. Therefore, clusters are being formed. You have the SCO Corporation, you have the BRICS group, you have Russia trying its own, narratives. You have India, which we ourselves are also looking at, or we are recalculating our calculus with respect to the United States. So the complete dominance of the US is reducing now. Of that, there is no doubt. At the same time, the US remains the elephant in the room. Every country wants to deal with the US. As far as, let's say, you look at the picture of tariffs, everybody is unhappy with the tariffs, but everybody is going and wanting to make deals. European Union agreed to 15% tariff plus $1.35 trillion of investments into US in the next 3 years. Japan, whining, unhappy, agreed to a trade deal, I think, at 20% tariff, plus $565 billion to be invested by Japanese companies in America in the next 3 years. So countries are doing that because the US is able to command and demand that. But apart from that, yes, the trend is that, clusters, vectors, and nations of the rest of the world is becoming West versus the rest, right? So the rest of the world is very much uh, re-estimating as to how it should navigate the geopolitical affairs and trade and technology and partnerships in this 21st century.